Changing the light bulb is fairly straightforward, but it's a little bit of a geometric challenge, especially on the driver's side, because the headlight is right behind and next to the battery, so the battery has to be removed from this space here. It's not there anymore. You can only see the battery terminals here dangling in the air. On the passenger side it's a lot easier. There's only the hose in the way there, but you can reach around it and bend it out of the way, and it's more manageable. I'll show you how the battery fits into this compartment. It's fairly straightforward. Two pieces of plastics were removed, and the metal clip that holds the battery down with those J hooks. It needs one piece of tool, and that's only for removing the battery. A 10mm wrench. Well, yeah, I went with a 10mm deep socket because I don't have all day. So, but that's all that's needed. Down here in the battery compartment, the light bulb is fitted like so. You're looking at, with this blue connector, the high beam, and the low beam is behind that flashlight there. You're looking at its empty space there on that white connector plate, and with that white connector below leading to it. So the connector comes apart fairly easily, but they might be stuck a little bit. So this doesn't need tools in theory. In theory, and you really shouldn't be using tools of any kind, like for hammering it or whatever. The connector's lower end, flexible, I'll figure this one out, this lower end there. So you have to press on that for this connector to be released. So as soon as I can get some leverage on it, there, it's been loosened, and from then on it just slips down like so by the edge of it. There, it's further down, there, all the way down. So that's disconnected like so. And how the light bulb mounts is fairly straightforward. It's a third of a turn sideways. So the terminals are down there. That's a third, maybe not a third of a turn. Okay, it's a sixth of a turn then. And then it pulls out like so. Okay, when you place the new light bulb in, don't forget, don't touch the glass. Okay, don't touch the glass. It goes in like so, in that position, on a bit of an angle, and then turn it like so, so that it's vertical, and then I'm just gonna clean it a little bit like so, and then reconnect the connector and wait for it until it clicks there. It's in place and it's connected securely. So that's how it goes. Here, so the bulb, this is the burnt out one, so it goes in this position and rotate and then pull the connector on it. Okay, so it's a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, take your time, be patient, because this big black plastic that looks like a drain pipe that's coming from the airbox here, that cannot be moved. And the low beam, there's its connector. It's you can only get to it using one hand. Okay, it's a one-hand operation with two fingers, so you have to have good manual dexterity for it, but it should be done in 5 minutes or less. Okay, so that's how it goes. These two connectors are on the same leg of the wiring harness. They're connected to each other, and you make sure when you remove the connector, which could be a little bit tricky due to the dust and dirt settling inside to it, make sure you push on the connector by the edge of the connector like so, and don't pull it by the wire. If you yank it by the wire and the wires rip out on the inside, you're gonna be sorry for a long time. The one more issue about the headlights or the lamps is make sure you get yourself nice brands such as this one, Philips, because what I found in the service manual, there is something that relates to it. It says in the service manual, poor low beam headlamp performance, and this is a service bulletin from 2008 March 19, and it affects 2003 to 2007, accords all VINs, and it's due to, it's one brand, the low beam headlight bulb made by Sylvania does not provide proper light distribution. Okay, so that's what the service manual says, making it difficult to see street signs. Okay, the low beam in one or both headlights. Okay, you get the idea. So avoid that brand. So says the service manual. So these two pieces of plastics fit here fairly easily. Here is this one first. It used to have two of these round rivets. This one here I'm talking about. That's how this looks like. And there used to be another one. I don't know where it is. I've never seen it. But they fit inside. Two holes here in the frame. Very straightforward. And they just cover this pipe here from above, just like so. There. And it's just there. This one also isn't a high-tech fit. It's got two of these dimples on its bottom, and you just throw the battery in here. Those two dimples correspond to two holes in the frame there somehow. And yeah, and this cable was also hooked up to that hook there on the side there. So just make it work there, something like that. There, it looks reasonable and it's in it. So all there is to it, throw the battery in this compartment. Carefully with that throwing though. So the battery is on the ground there, but before that gets into the square recess here, might want to place these J hooks first. I've put one in place, just like so, and I've taken the nut off of them, and this one is just resting there, and this one is gonna be somewhere there in the corner. It's kind of close enough. And put the battery in. Make sure you don't drop it. There. Make sure it's solid down, it's actually on the ground, and make sure the positive sign on the battery is here where the positive terminal is. So in any random order, you are good to go to put this sheet metal structure on it. I think it was this way, and that's where this, either this 10mm wrench or the other one with the socket comes in handy. Done with securing the battery in place, like so. Don't bend this little piece, it just needs to hold the battery there. It's fairly straightforward. It doesn't quite fit ideally. I don't know if this is original Honda part or whether this battery is actually specified for this car. I really don't know, but you can make it work like so. One more thing before I place the terminals and tighten them down. I've got here sandpaper and a wood dowel. I had to clean the terminals on the battery a little bit, more so on the cable. The cable's outside, you can see it's covered with this oxide layer that has this texturing to it, and on the inside is where I cleaned it. The inside is shiny, new. The idea isn't to sand away the cable's copper content. The idea is to sand away the lead sulfide or the deposits, that white deposit that coats everything. So outside unimportant, inside needs to be nice and shiny. Maybe from this angle, yeah, you get the idea. It's a copper ring here. Same on the other one. I try to make it look good. So from here on, it's fairly straightforward. I usually place the negative terminal first and then rotate it a little bit as needed, whatever to a... It's a short cable, it's got another bolt there that secures it to the car's body, and just tighten it. It doesn't have to be over tightened either. Let's see, is it turning? Yeah, it's rotating a little bit. That's not good. So it needs to be, this is where this wrench comes in handy. It needs to be tightened until it's actually not wobbly and not moving, because if it pulls off like this, it's not good. So just take your time, tighten those battery terminals, make sure they're actually solid. There. When you put this one on, there's gonna be a little bit of arcing. Don't worry about it. Now normally a plastic cover should cover this terminal. You can touch this one with any metal. This is connected to the car's unpainted frame there. It's not a problem. But if you connect this with a tool to something else that's metallic inside, there's going to be more sparks, and that's not normal. So make sure that you find something, or ideally what the manufacturer provides here would be nice. So get that little plastic that covers the battery's terminal. That's important. But that's basically it. The cables are solid, both of them. This one is angled this way so I can get a wrench on it, and not the wrench, the socket on it, and tighten it that way. There, this one's done. That concludes changing the light bulb. Unfortunately, it involves a little bit of trickery with the battery, but it is what it is.